Hey everybody, it's Friday morning, March 12th. Woke up to an email from my printer that we finally have a proof I can look at. I'm on my way to grab some coffee and then head down there. Gonna bring the camera with me, take a look at everything, see how it goes. Post this up later. Figured I'd do the intro on my way to get coffee here rather than actually in the lobby of the building, so. Alright guys, this is it. Ben Franklin Press, Tempe, Arizona. Let's go inside, see what they got for me. Alright everybody, quick time jump. I actually was able to bring this home from my printer, so I'm going to go through it here, probably stream some of it to some degree, but right now I'm going to capture me going through it. But right now this is it. This is the what we're calling a production dummy. It's not really a proof per se. This is just to make sure that the pages are in order in the size that they need to be, but it does give me the opportunity to check out some fine details. I will go through everything. Right now, just kind of off the bat, well, first of all, this binding is not the way that it's going to be bound. This is just for proofing purposes. But look at the size of that thing. That is a lot of book. That is 400 pages. Also, the edges here are going to be green all the way around when the book is finally done. So we'll get into some of that. But let me get a little set up here so that you're overhead and I go through some of the finer details of how this is all put together. Okay, set up here. Table of contents obviously is just half of it. The first sheet that has the end papers on the other side is going to sit here and it will complete the table of contents. It just has disclaimer legal copy on this side anyway. It says La Mano del Destino across the top. You can see the table of contents here. Don't know if I included this in the PDF or if I don't know if it had this particular feature on it. But I have the table of contents being able to be read like this, but if you turn this over, you can actually read the instructions that tell you that the Spanish language book is on the other side, and then you're holding it in the correct direction. If you just flip it back, you'll be on the Spanish side. And then the same is true on the Spanish side. In Spanish, it tells you that there's the English version here with the arrow telling you to go ahead and flip it over that way, and you'll be able to see the English version of it. So, all in all, I'm glad with the way that that came out. Open it up. We've got my foreword here by Evan Dorkin, who was gracious enough to give me this. It is a great foreword and a very Evan. Evan's great. If you guys aren't familiar with his work, go check it out. He was gracious enough to give me this, and I'm going to say I'm honored to have him included in my book. And then I know a lot of people are asking if the covers are going to be included. Yep, every chapter starts with the cover. It's got a big title page like this. It tells you what chapter you're on. And then to start the book off on the right-hand read, it has the title page, and then the quote that I included in each individual issue had a quote with it. Those are also included in the title pages, the kind of frontispieces that precede each of the chapters. Yep. This paper also a lot shinier than is going to be in there. Yeah, and it's going to be all the English issues on this side, every one of them. So when it comes to proofing, one of the things that I'm going to actually be looking at is little tiny things like these page numbers are automatic and set on the master pages, but to make it a trade paperback, everything has to get moved out 3/32 of an inch, including the master page items, but occasionally I had to manually put these in there to change either the color or slight location or something. So those weren't affected by the master pages, so I have to go through and make sure that every one of these page numbers is centered to the page and got moved out in the appropriate amount and registers against the other. So what I'm probably going to do is shine a light through each and every page to make sure that the circles from this page lines up with the circle on the page behind it. So 416 pages, we'll see how that goes. Every chapter also ends with this little frontispiece that kind of caps the chapter off and then moves on to the next title page. I wanted each of the chapters to be broken up kind of concisely, give it a little, make it a moment. Yeah, but all of the pages are here. Once you get done with the story, I don't want to spoil any story for you guys. We get into the behind the mask. Again, this is not the binding. These will come together. You'll be able to read that when they come together. These are just for proofing purposes. I'll probably say that a bunch of times. Really happy with my font selection and font size. It is a little hard to see on this screen, but It is super clean looking. It's everything I wanted it to be. I went back and forth on the point size over lettering size on this, printing them out, looking at them, seeing how legible they were. It is also, important to note, this comic is slightly larger than a regular comic, like 7 by 11, and a standard comic is 6.875 by 10 and a half, which is funny. So brings me to another point. One of the things I also look for when I'm proofing is to make sure that my margins are clear, my panels are clear of being clipped off. And the original issue I had built at 6.875 to be that width, but when I printed these, if we shaved it down to 6.625, I would have saved an entire parent sheet of paper, and I could get it all on 2 instead of 3. So some of the margins on the first issue, when we hadn't sorted out that printing, are going to get a little close. None of them go over, but the margins get a lot better once I get into like issue 3 and beyond. Let's get into some back matter. I don't know who hasn't gone through the back matter, but these layouts came out great. I mean, I shouldn't say layout. The printing on these layouts came out great. I don't want to be too self-congratulatory. These are going to be great when they jump the cover, the center spread. Yeah, again, this green is going to stand out on the white, which is nice. I was kind of worried some of that might not be clear enough, but the text I use in this green is bold enough to stand up. I don't know how great it looks on this right now, though. Making of stuff. We get into the future of Lamano. Here's some pages on how I literally set my Photoshop files up. So, and again, all this is included in this version of it, so I don't know what's going to be in the image version of it, but if you bought this version of it, you're getting the much cooler version. The Kickstarter version, that is. Pinup galleries here. I think I've mentioned this before. Every pinup is going to have the pinup itself, this one done by Matthew Alice, and then it has a little bio on Matthew, his kind of standard bio, and then it has a reason why I chose this person to be in here, kind of my synthesis here on why I selected each of these people, or shouldn't say selected, why I asked each of these people if they'd be willing to contribute, and those who graciously did. And then it has their social medias here too, so if you want to follow these guys, if you like the artwork that you see here, there's the opportunity to follow them on social media, and I do that for every artist that's in here. Yeah, so go through all the back matters and the pinups, and then after the last pinup, we turn to this card that I had done. Again, it'll come together. Because it goes either way, because the next page after the card is going to be the last page of the Spanish version. So there is that kind of like, you can look at it this way or that way, and then it kind of defies any, it works in any direction, so that when you get to like upside down pages, it works. But those are actually the Spanish version, have the table of contents in Spanish, the introduction is written in Spanish by Professor Frederick Aldama, professor out of Ohio State, although I think he's moving. I don't know how cat out of the bag that is. I don't know if I might have to edit that later. But anyway, there's his native Spanish introduction. It was written in Spanish, not written in English and then translated to Spanish. So I wanted a native Spanish speaker to introduce the actual Spanish side of it. And then everything that is in the English version gets translated into the Spanish version. You get all the pages, everything, every caption. Some of the sound effects, obviously, are, they're bilingual. I didn't have to change those, but those are in here. But like I said, I'm going to go through all 416 pages of this now that I have it in my possession. I got to make sure things like the page numbers line up. I got to make sure that my cropping is good. I got to make sure that nothing shifted, like when the panels need to sit next to each other, nothing shifted top to bottom. These guys are great. Everything should be okay. The only problem I'm anticipating is that some of the manual page numbering didn't have the master page applied to it. So I don't know. I might check back in with another video when I go drop this back off, but the plan now is for me to proof this today and for production to begin next week. So it's Friday, the 12th of March now, so hopefully the following Monday this actually starts getting printed. There's also a proofing process. I'm going to have to look at the cover and the spot varnish that's going on the cover. And here's a fun little note. Because of the thickness of this, there's so many pages, the actual printer's ink, or the digital ink that's on here now, adds a tiny bit of thickness to each individual page. So the belly band has to be created so that it fits the actual pages as they come off of the printing press, which is absorption print, so the ink is in the paper and not on the paper, so it doesn't have that same gain of paper. So just to make sure we build it to the right size, we're actually going to have to print all the books and covers and then get a clear measurement all the way around so that we can make sure the belly band is going to fit on there. And when I proof the belly band, I'm definitely going to bring a camera with me for that, because those are going to be that shiny gold foil replica championship belt that's going to go around the entirety of the book. So yeah, just wanted to check in with everybody. Stuff is happening. This is from my actual printer, proof that they're actually working on it. We're getting this done, making it happen. I'll make more videos to show you where we're at in the process. All right, have a good one.